All right, welcome everyone to our second Coyotes coach chat. Today we have Corey Schwab, our goaltending coach, on this call. We're very excited to have him and have him share some of his expertise with the Arizona hockey community. We're also joined by Joe Bonnet of USA Hockey. We're going to start with Corey first, and then we'll transition over to Joe. There will be time for Q&A. We'll hold that till the end of Corey's presentation. Same with Joe. Joe will present, and then we'll have a Q&A for his presentation as well. So please go ahead and type any questions that you have along the way into the Q&A or into the chat, and we'll make sure to answer them as we go along. My name is Christina Kehoe. I am a marketing manager here with the Arizona Coyotes, and also I'm a mites coach for the Arizona Coyotes. So I'm here to learn as well. We also have a wonderful staff here, so I'll go ahead and let everyone introduce themselves. Mike, I'm going to start with you first.
Yeah, hi, I'm Mike DeAngelis. I'm a youth hockey coach here in the Valley. I coach the 16 AAA team for the Junior Coyotes. I also help the Coyotes NHL franchise here with some part-time scouting and also some of the other stuff that they're doing in the community. So very happy to be on this call and learn from Corey.
Fantastic. Shane, I don't know if you want to go next.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, I'm Shane Doan. I work with the Coyotes as well. Mike actually works with me. So Mike and I work together, and he does so much for me and helps me out. And then obviously does a ton with the Coyotes as well. But I just want to say thanks for everybody being on here. It's I'm in Switzerland right now, so I'll probably be jumping off. It's 1:30 in the morning, but I just wanted to make sure I jumped on quick to thank Corey and to thank John. This is something that we want to continue to do as an organization. We want to reach out to the community. We want to improve the hockey and the coaches and make it as easy for them to be as successful as we can be in the community. We really appreciate, I think we have 33 or 34 guys on right now. This will be on our website so that you can see it. You can tell others to go and look at it. But I just wanted to reach out and say thank you so much, especially to Schwabi. I know he's got a busy schedule right now. I think he's in Pittsburgh tonight. And for him to do this is huge. So getting a chance to talk to the NHL coaches and getting their feedback, I think just helps everyone do a little bit better job. I know I've learned a ton from them already, and we will continue to. And to John for USA Hockey, even though I'm with Team Canada, I have to acknowledge USA Hockey today and how great a job they're doing for us in the state and helping us out so much. It's really special that he would come on. He was a huge help. He had great insight for us on the last one with Stiller, and I'm sure he's going to have great insight again. So thank you guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Joe, if you want to go next.
Just welcome back, everybody. Excited to be back with you all and be on the second talk today on behalf of USA Hockey. Just like to thank all the Coyotes, specifically Christina, Mike, and Shane, and today Corey, for letting us partner up with this great program. And I agree with Shane. It's to hear pro guys talk and to learn and to as a coach is really important. And just finally, I'd just like to wish Shane Doan the best of luck as the general manager. I think that's awesome that he was named GM, and good luck in the Olympics. And I'm looking forward to Corey's presentation. It's good to see Corey again.
Fantastic. And Corey, you're the star of the show today.
All right. Well, yeah, thanks everybody for joining us today. A little bit of background. I grew up in North Battleford, Saskatchewan, played all my minor hockey there, moved to Seattle when I was 18 to play in the WHL, met my wife there and ended up settling there after I finished playing. I have two boys that are hockey players. They're 18 and 20 right now. They played most of their youth hockey in Seattle, and I met Joe way back with the Seattle Snow King program when actually the ADM program was just starting up. We were one of the beginning associations that adopted it, and I can say from my own experience helping out my kids when I was on the ice, I think it's a great program, and our kids developed, improved, and it made it a lot easier on a lot of coaches. The structure that it provided, practice plans, a lot of stuff that we do at the NHL level, to me, it's already done for you. It's the right age appropriate stuff. I can't say how it is right now, but my experience was great with that. And in saying that, being able to be on the ice and work with the goalies and give goalie specific time, we were able to fit that in as well. So hopefully that's still something that's being done. And, you know, there's always ways to tweak it and make it important. But I felt for our goalies, the youth goalies, it was especially important to be able to get their little section of the ice or their specific training for part of the sessions. I'm currently the goalie coach for the Arizona Coyotes. I'd worked for the Tampa Bay Lightning and San Jose Sharks prior to working for Arizona. Fortunate enough to still be working in the game. As you guys all know, it starts at the grassroots level and works all the way up to the NHL, and we get to benefit from everybody's coaching and getting these kids to the NHL. So I have a little presentation here today, but I wanted to start out by talking a little bit about just the goal. I'm not going to get too technical with anything. I know a lot of coaches, you know, you're not versed in all the terminology or the position. So I don't want to do anything that scares you away. I think what's important though is that you try to make the goalies feel important. A lot of times they can feel like an afterthought if you don't talk to them. You don't consider what they're going through. You're afraid to talk to them, afraid to mess them up. That's not the case. They feel it. If you're the coach and you talk to them and you're comfortable around your goalie, they're going to feel it. They're going to feel good about themselves, and they're probably going to go out and perform better. It's no different at the junior level or the pro level. The communication that we have with our guys, and I have daily communication with our goalies, but our coaching staff as a whole, it's a big thing to communicate with their players to make everybody feel comfortable, get a feel for where they're at and where they need help. So I hope that you can do that. The one way that I think that is ultra important is just how your practices are. You know, and it's important for the goalie. There's a couple things to consider when you're designing your practices or thinking about your practices or watching to see how you can improve them. From the goalie side of things, to me, the warm-up is the number one thing. To be able to provide some time, you may be doing a warm-up drill. You have to allow the goalies to warm their eyes up and to be able to feel the puck. A lot of times you're doing a shooting drill and every player wants to get into the hash marks and the goalie doesn't feel the puck. You don't warm your eyes up. You're not tracking the puck. So if you can take the time, and it comes from the coach, to be able to say, hey guys, we're warming the goalie up on this drill, allow him to feel the puck. As you get into your practice, coming up with your drills, you know, what's the purpose? Is there a purpose? Are you just doing it to do reps for the players, and next thing you know, you're like, hey, my goalie's not trying. He's just standing there. Well, what's the work-rest ratio? So if you can consider what the purpose is on the drill, with the goalie in mind, try to make it as game-like as possible. Within the drill, this is something that I talk about with our NHL coaching staff daily. When we're talking about drills and coming up with a new drill, it's what's the timing of the drill? A lot of multiple shot drills where it's coming bang, bang, bang. Well, that's not going to create good habits for the goalie. And, you know, you got to think about what are you trying to get out of it. So if you can think about the timing, whether there's a shot, allowing the goalie to get ready, get ready for the next shot. And hopefully you can communicate with the goalie that, hey, we're doing this for a reason. I need you to work. I need you to work on these things to be able to get ready and not just stand there. But a lot of times it's a rapid fire drill and the pucks are coming uncontrollably. You can't expect the goalie to, number one, hang in there and make saves on all of them. They get tired just like the players do. And the last thing would be, as far as when you're looking at your drills in practice, you know, what's the shot location? I'm going to show a few video clips of our NHL goalies making saves. There are saves made that aren't at the hash marks right between the circles. And every team that I've ever played for or been a part of, most guys want to get in by that hash mark area because they want to score goals. You know, I understand some of the younger kids, they're not going to score from a distance, but if you can somehow structure some drills that allow shots from somewhere other than that, it's going to benefit the goalie, because those are some game-like situations, and he's going to have to do certain things, whether it be control the rebound or make clean saves, but that's when you should expect him to do that. So I'm going to move on. Again, all of those would just be to, you know, trying to build the goalie's confidence, and to think about that as you're watching a goalie. If I hear a lot of guys saying, hey, this kid's just getting lit up today. Well, are you really giving him a chance to make saves, or is it just, you would just want a scoring day for the players? So I'm going to go over a little bit of video. There's a couple key points that I want you to watch for. Number one is skating. Skating is probably the most important thing for a goaltender to work on. You're going to need it at every level, and at the NHL level, the play gets fast. You're going to have to be able to skate. Number two is rebound control. The third thing would be the patience, just as far as timing of the goalie's drop, when he's making a save. I know a lot of guys talk about, oh, the goalie's down early. Well, there's if you can watch for it, the goalie should be making a save as he's hitting the ice, not down with the smack of the stick and he's down a little bit early. So we'll see some of that. And then the other thing is reading the play. Most elite goalies have a sense about them, just like an elite hockey player does, has some playmaking abilities, just to be able to read the play, understanding, hey, what's the most dangerous threat? Is there something else out there? And if there is, a good player is probably going to look to make that play. So those are some of the things to watch for in the video. The first part of it, I have my 20-year-old son, Austin. These are a couple drills that you guys can do as coaches. You don't have to be a goalie coach. They're simple shooting drills, make the goalie feel good. It's about their movement, rebound control, tracking pucks. These are some things that I do with our goalies on a regular basis, just to make them feel good. And we get, you know, we try to simplify things as best we can. And then I'll get into some NHL clips that'll show those as well. So I'm gonna share my screen here. Will you let me know if the video is not working? If it's, I'm here at a hotel, so I hope the speed is okay.
We'll let you know.
All right, do you have it?
Yeah, we see your screen.
Okay. Okay, it's not moving on to my next slide. Sorry about that. It's not. Okay, here we go. So this first one here, I have 10 pucks across the hash marks, and the goalie's just sliding back and forth, just using his stick. This is working on the goalie's edges. He's just going back and forth using his stick. Nice and simple, gets the goalie feeling good as he's sliding back, using his stick. Next one, this is, I call it a two-shot recovery. So he's going to come off the post. He's going to slide.
Sorry. Hey,
Yeah.
Good. Sorry, I missed you. I was just, they were doing the intro. We were doing the intros for Corey Schwab's.
There we go.
Oh, all right. So let me start again. He's going to come off the post. He's going to slide, use his stick, and the second shot's going to come back to the other side. And he's, I call it active hands. He's going to either use his glove or his blocker. Simple drill. He's going to start on the post, shuffle, slide, use his stick. Second one's coming back the other way, and he can use his glove or blocker. I'll let one more run here. Shuffle, slide. I think this is something that any coach can do. You don't have to be a goalie coach to be able to do this one. Rebound control. I have the pucks here just kind of beside the face-off dot. The goalie starts in the middle of the ice, just a little shuffle across. what we're looking for here is he gets across, he's on the angle, and he's going to take the shot. You have to be able to control your shot here on this one, where there he gets across. He's at the top of the crease, timing of his drop as he's hitting the ice. I'm trying to shoot somewhere here in the chest, allowing him to make a easy save, but to be able to control the rebound. So I do that on one side, shuffle. Again, you don't have to be the goalie coach instructing him on the particulars, but just running him through. This is the other side. Shuffle, make sure he's stopped. He's in good position. Timing of his drop, he's hitting the ice as he's making the save. This is a point of view from just behind the puck. So on ice level, give you a little different idea. A lot of times you're standing up above and you think there's a lot of room up top. So this one, he'll be starting on the far angle. He's going to T-push across, get set, and I'm just going to shoot somewhere here on the glove, allowing him to make a feel-good save. So he'll line up, coming across. As you can see, this is a little bit more technical, but his head's right on the puck, his eyes all the way in. Tracking it all the way in. The other side, coming across, allowing him to stop. And it's just about feeling good. You time your shot, allow him to make a save, and it's okay that he knows where the shot's going. It's coming somewhere on this side. He doesn't have to guess. He's just going to make a clean save and feeling good about himself. Here's a lateral recovery to the glove side. So he's going to drop, simulating a shot to his left pad. He's going to rotate. I want him to find the puck early. So he picks this up early, which allows him, he's going to push back to the post. You can push back to the outside of the post, either one. But if his eyes are on the puck right away, even if he doesn't get there in time, he's still going to be able to react and make a save. So he drops like he's making a save, rotates, his eyes picking this puck up early. And again, it's giving him something that he can handle. I'm not trying to go under the bar and making it a hard save. It's more about just feeling good and making a clean save. Blocker side, there he goes. Now he's reacting with the blocker. So if we take those, there was some rebound control with the glove and blocker. There was rebound control to the chest. And the first drill we did was just using your stick with some rebound control, not punching the pucks back out. So here we have a simple save, but to me, he's out and challenging, but the big point for me is he's making a clean save. He's going to freeze the puck. I call it ending the play. Ending the play, whether it's in your chest or in your glove, when you can end the play, you settle everything else down. Here's one on the power play. Again, it's important. There he holds on to the chest, ends the play. If that puck pounces down here, you know what happens. Creates confusion, and then there's a scramble. Some of you guys out there, I don't know the age of all you coaches, but you might see goalies down in this position and you're like, well, why can't he stay on his feet? Well, here's a situation where this is Vejmelka. He's on his feet. He's going to drop down. Here's the shot being taken. Drop down with the shot, and he's able to hold on. These are simple. They look like simple saves, but that's why we practice doing simple drills, because they show up in the game. Just want you to watch his movement on this one. How much movement happens in a play? So they enter the zone. There's no threat of a shot. He gets to his post. He's down. He's bumping post to post. Now he's out to the top of the crease. He's got to work to find the shooting lane there with traffic in front. Now it gets across. So he's got to work to get across. This one here, he chooses to challenge. He drops a little bit early, but there's really nothing for him to shoot at. As you saw from the point of view camera where I was shooting from this angle right there, he's a lot lower, and a big guy like Vejmelka, there's not going to be any room for them as long as he's big in that position. So the skating component of what we talked about before, why I feel it's important, a lot of plays, I call it beating the pass, so that the goalie gets there before the guy who receives the pass is going to release a shot. So we get the pass across. As the shot's released, he's already in position. He's got to it. Again, he uses the glove and ends the play. Here we have another one. This one's going to be a one-timer. So he's here, gets across. He's already in position as the puck's coming. Again, timing his drop. Makes a blocker or a shoulder save because he gets there and he's in position. A little bit of stick use here on beating the pass. Again, he's working to get across. He's there, he's set as the shot's released. Makes a clean save with a stick. The rebound goes in the corner. A couple other things that we look for is the patience. As I mentioned earlier, as he's timing his drop. Shot's released. There's the puck. It's almost to him as he's hitting the ice. Makes a clean save with his stick or pad. That's where it drops down. So as he's dropping down, he recognizes, he reads it's a high shot, and he's able to make what looks like an easy save. Another one for the glove. The gloves are my favorite part because they end the play. A guy who can catch the puck, doesn't use his glove like a blocker, can end the play. We can regroup. So this one's going through the defenseman right here or by him. As he's dropping, again, his hand didn't drop and move up. It was just in one movement, it just goes up. Another one shoots through the legs, but he's set. He's in position. He's not moving. He's set. There he's dropping. Makes the save. 2-on-1, which is actually a 3-on-1. Again, watch the glove position. Goes right to it. His head, this one, his head's right on it. Tracks it all the way into the glove. Makes a clean save. This is a backdoor play on the power play, which we don't like to see happen too often, but there's a key on this one is how he tracks the puck with his eyes, which allows him to react and make a save. There you can see he's turned his head early. Now he can react to the shot and make the save. We got a behind the net view. There's his head. He's turning, reacts to make the save. He isn't able to hold on to it. Again, there's his head turned. Able to make it's a desperation save, but he's under control and makes a big save for us. The last couple here I have are just reading the play. I talked about hockey sense before and goalie sense. So to start out here, we got a threat there, a threat here, and this guy becomes a threat. So there's a lot to go on. And the big thing for me, for an NHL goalie, if he's at the top of his crease where he is, this guy isn't going to beat him with a shot from there. If he's not going to beat him from a shot from there, there are guys who can score from there, but this guy's going to look to make another play. He's not confident that he's going to beat the goalie. So he makes a shot pass to this guy. Good play by Vejmelka by being patient and just pushing across. As it turns out, the guy pushes the puck wide, but if he drops on this initial shot, you see a lot of backdoor tap in. So to me, that's excellent reading of the play, reading what the options are and who the dangerous threats are. Another one, a fake shot, winding up for a slap shot. You see a lot of kids just drop right here. He's working right here to find the shooting lane or find his lane that he can pick up the puck. Fake shot. He doesn't drop. Now it's a pass across. This is a potential one-timer, so he chooses to drop on that and actually gets a break on this side here by it hitting the post, but he gives himself a chance by not being down and out. So again, kind of give you a visual on what a guy has to work through. There's his skating. So he's starting from here to there. He widens out, gets ready to make the save, reads that it's not coming. Excuse me. Comes across, he thinks it's a one-timer. It's not, but he's still trying to react to make a save off of that. As I said, it hits the post, but he's still in a position where he's pucks by him, but he's trying to react out to make a save. And the last one would be just the awareness. This is just awareness or scans or taking a look, checking the slot, seeing who's open. There's his first look right there. He looked to check to see who's there. He sees our guy there. Puck goes to the other side. This guy's going to come and get a shot wide open in the slot. There's his awareness. He takes his look there, recognizes that there's a guy there. I know experience from playing, sometimes you recognize who's out there. If you're playing against offensive guys, you should know who the guys are that are on the other team. But all it is just, he takes a look. He's going to pick up a black colored uniform guy there that's all alone, which allows him to get a little bump off the post here and to be able to make a save. So that's the video that I had. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of perspective on how important the skating is, the rebound control. It's important. I know I showed a few gloves there, but I know working with my own kids and my kids coming through that as much as I can, I tried to shoot pucks through their glove. Shoot pucks through their glove, make them feel like you got to be able to caress your hand a little bit and get it right into the webbing of the pocket, not just throw it out there and have it hit anywhere. If you can use your glove and end plays, I know at the pro level, anytime we can end the play and settle things down, we're better off for it.
Corey, I had a quick question for you. Actually, two quick questions, if you could. What is your philosophy on a goaltender whose goalie's leaving the crease to play the puck behind the net at the youth hockey level with some of the kids? Would you rather see them get out and learn how to play the puck out behind the net sometimes when they're young, so they're more comfortable with it? Or what's your philosophy on that?
For sure. I think anytime that they can get out and handle the puck, I think anytime the puck's in the glass, just with you don't get true, it's not rimming all the way around. I would suggest staying in the net. But to me, a big part of a goalie playing the puck is a lot of times hockey sense as well. There's a couple things that come into play. Number one, if you are going to handle the puck or get out for rims, you got to anticipate when that rim is going to happen. Whether a guy's getting pinched off and he has no other option and he's going to rim the puck. So there's a lot that goes into anticipating it to be able to get out. But I do think it's number one, as the kids are younger, just making the effort to get out and stop it, pulling it off the boards, maybe a foot, and they don't have to think puck. Just get out, stop it, pull it off the boards a foot, allowing your defenseman or player that's coming back to be able to handle the puck. And as the kids get older, I know it's one of the things Austin really enjoyed working on, handling the puck. It's one thing to remember though, as a coach, most goalies are catching with their left hand and they're going to shoot left-handed. Well, there's a lot of goalies that are natural right-hand shots. So it's hard for them to be able to stick handle or make a play, or their hands aren't quite as good. Just think of yourself going out there with the opposite handed stick and then throw a glove on that you're using like a shovel and shoveling it around. But I do think that it's a good skill to be able to work on, Mike. Did you have a second question, or did I? Yeah,
I did. Great answer on that one. My other one was just about goaltenders. So we always talk about sliding side to side in the crease, and sometimes we see younger goalies slide almost too far. And how is that the skating ability of them to be able to stop themselves when they slide east to west and stay within the ability to play the next rebound?
Yeah, I found that I think sometimes the goalies aren't strong enough or confident enough in their push from one angle to the other angle on their skates. It's almost easier for them to just not even think about it and slide, get to the other point and stop. To me, for youth goalies, if they can anything above I don't want to have a exact marker, but something above the top of the circles, if they can work on beating the pass on their feet, as it's in closer, they may not think that they have enough time to react to get down to make a save. But my preference is if a goalie can be on his feet, he's going to be able to react. And again, it comes down to that patience and timing of his drop. But they have to be, I guess you'd have to do some drills to have them get the confidence, like, you know what, you can make a pass from one face-off dot to the other face-off dot angle, and they have the confidence to move on their feet, to get there and get set and to be able to make their saves. You're right. And a lot of kids just default into sliding and they get into, it's a more chaotic game. And the other thing is a lot of these kids are small. So to be down on your knees, you have a long ways to go to, if your hands are down by your pads, all the way up to cover the top of the net.
All right, awesome. We've got a lot of questions for you. So here we go. For goalie warm-up with simple and easy saves, can coaches take those shots to ensure players aren't shooting at their head, or is it important for the goalie to see them come from their peers?
No, sorry, I forgot to mention that. I think it's great for the coach to be able to do it, or an assistant coach while players are doing something. A lot of times, depending on the age and the skill level, sometimes a coach would be better because you want to be able to hit the spot. You want to be able to hit the spot to make it a productive drill. If you have it may be something where as a coach at the older levels, you may designate a player to do some of them and they're working on their shot. A lot of players don't like to be just standing still, shooting the puck. I know at the NHL level, if the guy's moving, they're much more accurate than if they're standing still. For me, as a 51-year-old goalie coach, I'm more accurate if I'm standing still than if I'm skating. But I do think it is good, and also the awareness of, you're right, not hitting the goalie in the head and making the goalie afraid.
Perfect. There's been a lot of talk lately about butterfly / vertical horizontal versus reverse vertical horizontal and knee hip health. Other than old school stand up, what are other styles that are being developed, if any?
I don't know other styles. I think it's more just the overuse. So if the goalie is sliding all the time, if he's always down on his knees, always sliding into the post, into that reverse VA's position, it is going to be harder on their hips and their ankles. I've had some younger kids. I remember a kid back in Seattle, I think he was 12, and he couldn't go into that reverse VH position. His hip and his ankle wouldn't allow him to go into it. So we didn't go into that position. It's something that you need the flexibility. And I think just the repetition of over and over and over is you start feeling it later in life. So if you can be on your feet, great. But there's a time and a place for each of them.
Perfect. Corey, you stated that skating is critical to goaltending. How important is skating the goalie with the entire team? And if you're skating the goalie with the entire team, what are some recommendations of do's, like C cuts, or don'ts, like crossovers, non-goalie moves?
Yeah, I think there's a time and a place to be able to skate with the team as well. I know I used to like doing it. It was a different level of conditioning that you were doing some of the skating. The one thing that you have to remember about goalies, if you are doing a skating drill, a lot of times the goalie's the last one. He doesn't even get finished the skating drill, and the next guys are already going. And then they don't get the same rest that the other guys get. So you either have to shorten up a simple one, if you're skating around for conditioning, skating around the nets, which I know we don't do a lot of now, allow the goalie to skate in front of the net, or just as long as the work rest ratio is the same. goalies that can skate, that can cross over, that can work their edges on their feet are going to be able to maneuver in the crease. It's surprising how much goalies have to be agile on their edges. It's not just about sliding or a T-push. They have to be able to move around the crease. And when they're going out to handle the puck, they got to be able to skate out towards the corner to get the puck before it crosses the goal line, or they got to get out behind the net. So yes, I do think that there is a time and a place for it. If that's all you're doing as far as a warm-up, the goalie would probably be better off doing some movement drills in the crease. If it's a conditioning drill at the end of the practice, then hey, they're part of it and they could benefit from it.
All right, awesome. We're getting close to your time here. So I'll ask one more question and then we'll shut it down for Q&A for Corey. One question that's kind of different than the actual physical skill, we're asking about mental skill. As you know, so much of the game is mental. Any tips on how to counter an emotion, when a goalie gets multiple goals scored or even soft goals scored on them?
A couple things. I think it's beneficial if you communicate to your goalie at the start of the season that, hey, you know what, we're not going to pull you. That if you give up a couple goals, you need to stay in there and battle through it and focus on making the next save. I know a lot of kids, you get a couple goals, a bad goal or a couple goals against them, and they're either looking to the bench to get some reassurance from the coach or looking to see if they are getting taken out, or they're looking to the stands to their parents who might be saying, hey, it's okay, right? So a good example I had when I first started playing pro hockey with the Devils, Robbie Fitorik was my coach, and great USA hockey player and coach. And this is at the American Hockey League level. And my partner at the time was Marty Brodeur. And he said to us, he goes, hey guys, I'm not taking you out of the game. Find a way, figure it out, make the next save. Don't be looking at me. We're here to develop, and you guys are going to have to figure out a way to get yourself back in the game. The other thing that happens, if you pull a goalie, then he's sitting there for a couple days, a week till his next game. And then he's going to get in there at the start of the game and he's going to be like, all right, okay, how is this going to go? If you stay in it and you have to battle through it, I always felt like, you know what, even if I have a good third period, even if I make a couple good saves, now I'm back in it. I have to do something, get back to the basics, do something to make a couple saves. So now I feel good about myself, regardless of what the outcome is for the game.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Corey. I'm sorry we didn't get to everyone's questions. You had a lot. You were a popular one, Corey. So we'll try to get to more questions on our next call, but we're going to go ahead and have Joe take it away from the USA Hockey standpoint.
All right. One last thing. Good luck to everybody out there. And I think I talked about my kids playing in Seattle, but I've also experienced them playing in Arizona for both the Bobcat program and the Junior Coyotes program. Everything that you youth coaches do, I know it's sometimes thankless, and people don't appreciate how much time and effort you put in. Thanks for everything you do, which making the game greater. And you know what? Some of those kids are going to turn out to be NHL players. You don't know which ones. You may think you know which ones. I was one that shouldn't have made it based on how I was as a small young kid, late bloomer. So hopefully you can instill confidence in your goalies, because I don't know a good coach who hasn't had a good goalie. They cover up a lot of mistakes. So thanks to everybody. Thanks, and Corey. Good luck with the rest of your season.
Thanks, Corey.
Thanks, Corey.
Thank you so much, Schwabby. Really appreciate it. That was awesome. So relatable too. And thanks for the little at the end there. It makes us all feel good when you hear about coaches here in the town. So thank you. Great job,
right,
Schwabby.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right, Christina, should we just kick right into it?
Let's go.
All right, yeah. Let me see here.
Same thing. If anyone has any questions for Joe, go ahead and type them in the Q&A or in chat, and we'll get to them after Joe's presentation. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
And instead of sharing my screen, if you guys just want to go up to my right-hand part of my screen, there's 3 little dots. If you just want to pin my screen, that way you can see it. That might be easier. Okay. So Schwab is a great guy. And not only did I know him from Seattle, he actually worked at our 14 Rocky Mountain Western Regional High Performance Camp. And again, as a former NHLer and as a guy with that kind of background, for him to get on the ice and, and work with the kids within our Rocky Mountain district was amazing. And I just remember how excited he was as a youth coach to work with kids kind of in the new environment, if that's what you want to call it, and in modified spaces and getting the kids, a lot of the reps. And he had a lot of great insight with the goalies. And in a weird way, this is an unbelievable transition from Corey's presentation to mine, because right out of the gates, Corey comes in with practice design. He comes basically in with, what's the purpose of the drill? And I think that's such a great question. And it's actually what we're going to talk about and pick up where we left off from when we defined skill last time. And, Corey also talked about, what are you trying to accomplish? Giving kids shots from different angles, creating spatial awareness. I love that he picked up he's an NHL goalie or pro coach for a reason, about reading the play, hockey IQ, understanding the threat, having awareness. He used the word scan. And that's exactly what we talked about in the first presentation when we were defining skills. So just as a quick, recap, last time that we spoke, we agreed for these presentations that we're going to define skills simply as the execution of technique. But really what we talked about were the 3 pillars. That yes, a goalie needs to have a good butterfly. A goalie needs to know how to track or skate, right? So having great technique is one piece of the puzzle, but also having a great hockey sense, IQ, and perception. And that's what I loved about what Corey talked about. And then finally, having the ability to perform in a live environment. So if you weren't with us last time, that was kind of what we presented on. And now we're going to take it a step further. So if that's what skill is, if that's the definition of skill, hockey technique, hockey IQ, the ability to perform live, how do we acquire that skill? That'll be what we go over today. As a youth coach, how do you put your kids in the environment to acquire that type of skill? Okay. And you'll notice that USA Hockey, we're not giving a lot of drill books out. You guys are awesome coaches. You have your drills. How do we make them better? How do you stand back and actually ask, what does your drill actually ask of the player? And you'll be amazed that, like if you step back, you'll be like, geez, it just requires the kid to skate around the cone and get back in line, or just skate down the ice, shoot, and get back in line. And you might be surprised that a lot of your drills, not that they're bad, but what they're really asking the player to do maybe doesn't exist. And we know what you permit is what you promote. So if you're going to yell at your kids for not transitioning from offense to defense, or back checking down the middle of the ice, or stopping in front of the net, but then your drill, your environment and practice doesn't create those habits, there is a disconnect. So what we're going to talk about is kind of the environment that you create as a coach to get the behavior that you want. And that's kind of what we talked about last time as well. So the new technique that a lot of the coaches are working with, and we talked about Mike Sullivan last week, it's called constraints-led approach. It's real popular right now, but if you look at the science, it's pretty interesting. There is a little bit of science dorkiness to this today. I'll try not to drill down too deep on that stuff. But just a couple definitions I want you to be familiar with before we move forward. So what is a constraint? Those are factors that limit, contain, or help shape the development of movement of your practices. We're going to go into that. Some are real obvious, some aren't so obvious. Representativeness. What players are seeing and feeling represents the game. You just heard Corey talk about, making those reads, knowing where the threat is, knowing where the threats are away from the puck, dropping at the right times. Do your drills include those reads, right? Is it representative of the game, or are we just doing a bunch of low-level drills, which I'm going to talk about in a second? And then repetition without repetitiveness, we talked about that last week. Do your drills offer the kids a lot of chances to problem solve, but things that look a little bit different every time? Okay. So just to have those definitions in your back pocket as we move forward. So what are some learning design constraints? And I'm just going to keep moving because I know we're a little bit short on time. So these are some learning design constraints. The easiest one is boundaries, right? The size of the ice that you give, right? The shape of the playing surface. I'll give you an example. If me and Mike are playing 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 against Christina and Shane, and we're working on offense away from the puck, and I'm coaching, Mike to get open when his partner has the puck. And so maybe we're using a little modified space, right? 2-on-2 keep away. And if the offensive team is having too much trouble, as a learning design constraints coach, I want to step in there and maybe increase the size of the ice. Just simply increasing the size of the ice is going to give the players, offensive players, more time and space to make decisions, to handle the puck, to get open. Then as your players get efficient, and then now they're doing a good job and it becomes too easy, now you shrink the ice surface back down. So there's more defense there. And now it's harder to find Mike. Now it's harder to find that space, right? And so as a coach, if you understand what constraints you can change to get the behavior that you want, right? That skill development that you want from a team standpoint or an individual standpoint, now you're becoming a high level coach. Okay. So do you change boundaries, the size and shape of the playing surface, scoring, right? The shape and size and orientation of the net. I love that Corey talked about, shots from different angles. I don't want to get into a goaltending conversation here, but if you move the nets on the ice, you're teaching spatial awareness to your players. You're not giving them the cheats of, I got to stand on the hash mark. Now you got your players thinking, where's the open ice? Where's the lane to the net? Is there a lane to the net? Right? Thinking, so it's a spatial awareness thing. Players, numbers and allocation, right? Maybe it's a 4-on-2 because you want to work on offensive puck movement. Maybe it's a 4-on-4 in a small space and you're working on defensive coverage, right? Who do you want to give the advantage to? Manipulate the number and allocation of the players. Again, that's a constraint. Start position of the players. We had Marty St. Louis on one of our calls. He does a lot of work with USA Hockey right now. He talked about how every time he started a drill, his coach had to turn his back to the play because Marty was so aggressive, he would cheat. He would look at the coach's eyes and where the coach was going to place the puck so he could get there first. So the coach said, okay, Marty, I'm going to turn you around now so you're blindfolded. A constraint, right? To get behaviors that you want, to challenge your players. Start position of the puck. I try to start all my drills off of 50-50 pucks because that's the game of hockey. Point scoring system. Here's a good one I do want to talk about. You hear this a lot of times. You cannot get a shot on net until you make 5 passes. I would argue that's a dumb rule. It's a dumb rule because you're limiting the players on what they can do based on what the game is giving them, right? On my team, I like to score. So if we make 2 passes and the kid has an empty net shot, we want to take that shot. But the constraint is creating the behavior that I want, right? To be unselfish, but we also want to score goals and take what the game is giving you. And then additional rules and regulations, that's where you come in as a coach. So the biggest thing that you're going to figure out with learning design constraints is that you want to avoid separating perception and action. So what I mean by that is perception is what we just talked about, the reads of the game, and action is skate around the cone, shoot, get back in line. You don't want to separate those very often. And that's what we talked about with the Patrick Kane Hockey IQ last week. And then decisions to act should come from the triggers in the environment and cues in the environment, not rules themselves. Let the kids read the situation and then make their decisions accordingly. Okay. So this is sciencey, and I'm not going to be too dorky here, but when you're trying to develop skill, you're looking at that red pyramid. You have the task. Maybe it's a breakout, maybe it's stick handling, toe drag, one time, or whatever it is. But you have the task. The constraints that we just discussed influence that task, right? Short pass, long pass. You have 3 seconds to make a pass, whatever it is, whatever the constraints are. They have to skate around a tire before, they have to pass through tires, whatever the constraints are, right? A cone is a constraint. A divider is a constraint. Then you have the individual, and all of us coaching youth hockey, as Corey said, it is very difficult. Well, it's difficult because you have 20 different individuals on your team. Don't think you're going to develop the next Connor McDavid clone. Okay. Really what we're doing with skill development is each individual kid has their action capabilities, right? You're not going to create a robot skater like Connor McDavid, maybe one or two. Okay. But each kid that you're working with is going to have different action capabilities that you need to accentuate and allow for them to discover what they can and can do really well and what they can't do very well. And they'll figure it out. And then the last thing is the environment. Is the ice hard? Is it soft? Is it, is there wet? Is it foggy? Is it, what type of ice and what type of environment are they playing in? Once you figure out those three things, you're going to throw perceptions in front of the kids, and then they're going to react. The old way of skill development was this: put a problem in front of the kid, let the kid go through a menu through his brain. Should I turn left? Should I turn right? Should I use one edge? Should I use two edges? Should I use backhand? Should I shoot? And then pick the best thing on the menu and then react. What science shows us now is that kids perceive and then they react. They perceive and then they react. They see green, they go. They see red, they slow down. And you're trying to wire your kids using tasks and their individual capabilities and their environment to see perception within practice, to get those reads that Corey was talking about, and get your kids to react as quick as you can. Again, you're myelinating their brain. You're getting them to be quick thinkers so they can play the game at a very quick pace. So movement solutions to the problem. I'm going through that pretty quick, but it's kind of the, what we've seen. So Mike, I'm going to ask you a quick question here. What number do you see here, Mike, on the screen?
9.
Okay. So Mike sees a 9. All right. So this player sees a 9 as well. So Mike is going to handle this problem based on how he perceives this problem. This player sees that number as 6. So they're going to process that problem a little bit different and then go about handling that problem differently. An example, skating the puck down from the blue line or up from the goal line. It's the same defender. How are you going to attack them? Okay. Well, the player needs to be able to perceive the problem and then act. And then as soon as that action occurs, a new problem occurs, new perception, new action, new perception, new action. And if you have players that can function in that, again, that jungle tiger mentality that we talked about last time, now you're developing youth hockey players and players that can be able to succeed as they get older. So the famous quote, you can't adapt to an environment that you don't inhabit. So don't be a youth coach that has perfect drills, that wants the perfect environment, and then you absolutely lose your mind during a game because you don't have kids that can't problem solve when someone's trying to take the puck from them. Let your kids play in chaos, create the situation or the environment that's similar to the game in your practices, and let the kids figure it out. This is an unbelievable tool, and I would really recommend, highly recommend, taking a quick photo of this. This is the funnel of variability, and this is where USA Hockey gets the knock. Well, my team sucks because I can't teach a breakout because we're not allowed to teach breakouts with the ADM. It's all block technique drills. It's 6 cookie cutter stations where it's just blocked. And what I mean by blocked is those are drills that are basically predetermined, right? Kids know that they have to skate through the cone, shoot, and get in line. There's no brain development. And we just talked about with our definition of hockey intelligence or hockey skill, hockey IQ and intelligence is important. So what we're asking coaches to do now is, can you get up and down the funnel, right? So me and Mike, we're going to pass the puck together. As soon as that we show competency, right? We talked about this last time. Now we're going to put Christine in the middle of us, and now we're going to play monkey in the middle. And now there's better reads, more game-like reads, right? The aperture of the passing lane closes and shuts like a real game would in monkey in the middle. Then you go up to unit play. Can you guys pass 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5, small-sided games with a purpose. This is how we're going to break out, and we're going to do it in a live action. And then you get to the game. Please do not get me wrong. There's nothing with blocked technique drills. I'm not saying there is, and I don't want to get into the discussion about, there's nothing wrong with skating around cones. I'm not saying that. But what we're finding is that as a coach, if you live in the block technique world, you're really leaving out the brain development, the read and react portion of skill development that Corey talked about, even for goaltenders. And the interesting thing about the funnel is if you live at the bottom of the funnel, you're supplying no information for your players to make decisions up front, because the answers are either in cones or through your drill, right? You told them what to do. Skate here, skate there, shoot, get back in line. As you come up this funnel, now you're creating an environment where your players have to take information out of the environment that's floating around in the air and decide what they're going to do. Should I turn? Should I skate faster? Should I shoot? Should I pass? Should I hold on to the puck? Now you're acquiring the skill that we define. This is a more scientific-y version of the funnel. I'm not going to spend too much time on here. But the thing that's interesting is this, is that if you look at the bottom, technical emphasis is really important. Unopposed practice, opposed practices. Then as you move to the right, if you want to start to get tactical with your team and players, you want to start going up the funnel to small unit, small sided, and macro games for your players. And then on the left-hand side with the complexity, 1-on-1 is simple, but then you start to add numbers, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5. And then you start adding complexity to your environment for your players to explore. All right. So here's a stupid example of a passing drill. Notice they're passing, they're allowed to move. Here I would say with their skill level and competency, I would say these guys are ready to move on. Okay. There's a little bit of decision-making. They have to decide who, where, and when they're going to pass, but it's a real low-level decision. The aperture of that passing lane is huge. It barely closes. And then you can see they have to stay inside the box. But then one little tweak as a coach, as I go up the funnel, now it's 2-on-1 keep away. Look at the significant difference in everything, right? So the kid with the glasses there, he's got to decide, do I have the action capability to make that pass when she's open, right? Now there's someone trying to steal the ball, right? Now we're working on puck support, right? Now you're working on the player without the ball. How do you get open in tight spaces? Because that's what the game is. The defender, you're working on head on swivel, active stick, right? Then you go 3-on-2 keep away. Look how tight this is. Now, this would be a good example of what I talked about with Mike DeAngelis. If these kids are struggling offensively, as a constraint-led approach coach, I open up that space. I move those cones back. If it's too easy for the offense, I shrink it down. But think about not only the quality of passing, repetition without repetitive. They're making a ton of passes. They're not the same passes. Forehand, a little bit of backhand, quick, underhand, overhand. But they're getting a lot of passes, but it's not repetitive. It's not me and Mike standing still, just passing the puck to each other. Okay. And then think about, is she open? Is she not open? Can I move it? Can I not move it? Right. Hockey IQ, quickness. All right. And we talked about, I think, did we show this last time? Didn't we? Did we show this last time, Christina? Yeah. So I'm going to go past this because we showed that last time. Okay. And then finally, I'm going to end it with this. So the biggest comment that we get at USA Hockey is, okay, so how do you teach and organize your team through modified spaces, right? And can you teach a breakout in stations? I know a lot of coaches struggle with that. I don't blame you. I don't think we rolled it out right. And I think we're still learning too, right? But what we're finding is, like, so for example, like I coach 14 UAA. My defensemen have blocked training in puck retrievals, right? And getting their feet up the ice, and passing like a pro, handling the puck on their forehand, that type of thing. So for a breakout, you have to have good puck retrieval. Your forwards have to have really good puck support. Does their chest face the puck? Is there a 5-foot pass? Can they find open space? So we'll work at blocked and unopposed and opposed drills on those techniques, passing. But a breakout, as you know, is so much more than that. So as we go up the funnel, this is a finished drill. We'll look at this. So what's going on here is right now, hold on for a second. Red is on offense, and you have two blue kids kind of in the neutral zone of a 3-on-3 cross ice game. When the defending blue team gets it, they're going to pass to the two kids in the neutral zone. It's going to come right here, I think. Boom. Okay. And then boom. Okay. That's a pretty good pass, by the way. And then they get to attack 2-on-2. Now, as soon as the red team gets it, okay, they got to break the puck out. But as a coach, you guys have all seen this game, I'm sure. But as a coach, are we coaching the game, or are we coaching the habits that are going to transfer into our team? So for example, let me show you right here. Okay, so blue scores. Okay, red's going to get the puck here. Look at this young man up here. On my team, I don't know about yours, but we talk about puck support in the breakout, finding open space, show your partner where he wants to puck with his stick, right? And let's see if the player away from the puck, let's coach, right? So you can see he's good puck support, good forecheck, by the way, by the kid in blue. Okay, these are things you're looking for in tight areas. The defenseman makes a great move. Look at that puck support. Okay, is that a breakout? Does that transfer to the game? Absolutely. So if I'm this coach here, I'm watching these kids. Are they finding space? Are they showing where they want to pass? Are they an option? Is their chest facing the puck? Okay, and there's your forehand pass. They go down 2-0. So as a coach, this coach here created an environment that is giving these kids a lot of opportunities to work on breakouts, from the defense to forwards, to finding space, to creating passes, and to go on to offense, which essentially a breakout is. So this coach has gone up the funnel. He's using constraints, that space, right? The rotation of the game, the size of the playing area, the number of players, and he's teaching team behavior within the skill constraints-led approach. And then if we had more time, I would take you farther up the road on specifically breakouts. We can do power plays. You can do any concept you want within these techniques. So that was a real quick introduction to constraints-led approach. But this is the stuff that we're going down the path. If you think about our definition of skill, again, good technique, good hockey sense and IQ, and the ability to perform in a live environment, using constraints with your players and coaching the behavior that you want specifically, not just standing there watching. Through the constraints, you're going to really develop some high-end skilled players that can not only dangle, but can think, and they can perform on Saturdays and Sundays. So I'm going to cut it down there because I know we're a little bit over. This should be the last time that I'm going to present. There's a small opportunity I might present on the new rules later, but as of right now, we're going to keep this thing to 30 minutes moving forward with Christina. And I really appreciate all the positive emails that we have received after our first presentation here. The engagement and the quality of coaches on this call is unbelievable. And I got some really positive emails about the back-to-back NHL USA Hockey partnership and what we're doing. So I'll turn it back over to Christina and Mike if there's one or two questions, but I know we're over our time, but I wanted to get through that quick. And that's kind of what we're promoting now at USA Hockey for youth hockey coaches.
Awesome. We have a question, or more of a statement. Someone wants you to re-show the funnel.
Okay. Let me see, get there. Okay.
There you go. Everyone screenshot it while you got it. I don't know if anyone has any questions. Go ahead and enter them into the chat box or Q&A.
My big thing with the funnel, people, is this. Like everybody thinks USA Hockey is small-sided games, and 3-on-3 cross ice. And yeah, I mean, if your kids play 3-on-3 cross ice all year, they'd get better. They would learn how to toe drag, and it's like pond hockey, right? They're going to get better. But again, like we talked about last week, you are the master of your domain. Through constraints, let the game be the teacher, but you as a coach manipulate the game to get the behaviors, not only individually, but as a team, on what you want your team to behave and to perform. And it's modified spaces now. It doesn't have to be 6 stations of cookie cutter stuff. If you need a third of the zone, if you need a half ice, if you need 3/4 ice, if you need a sixth of the ice, you guys know what you're doing and you know what your team needs. Go set that environment up to get, is it wall play? Is it, center underneath on a breakout? Is it, stick handling? Whatever it is, set it up. And then ultimately what you're going to do is and then this is the last slide. Sorry, I want to go back, because everything, this is basically where Corey left us, is everything that we're doing. Again, we're not doing drill books. It's intentional design for youth coaches. Start with the end in mind. What do you want your team to perform? What do you want them to accomplish? What do you want them to do and then identify the game problem. You know, our kids cannot break the puck out. Our kids can't set up a power play or whatever it is. And then analyze the underlying issue and then design practice to address those issues. And then you're a world-class coach. That's what USA Hockey's asking. And that's what we're here to help support you guys with. There's no one way to skin the cat because, you know, everything, you guys have your own team.
All right. I don't see any questions, so.
All right. Well, that's good. Hopefully that's good.
You're off the hook.
That's a little dorky stuff, but if you step back and just think about it, it makes sense. And you guys are probably doing it already. Just all we're saying is see if you can do it better and challenge your players a little more. Anything on that, Mike?
No, the biggest thing, Joe, is that every time I listen to you and stuff, in whatever, how many years I've coached or any of the other guys on the call have coached, you always make us think outside the box and always bring new ideas and it sparks a lot of critical thinking for me about how I can change practice starting tomorrow afternoon. So it's awesome. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Mike. And thanks, Shane. And
Yeah.
thanks, you know.
I agree, Joe. Thank you so much again. We appreciate this and you do a great job every time. So thanks. Look forward to the next one. Thanks. Thanks, Christina. I'd never thanked you, Christina, which all of this happens because of her. So please, everyone, make sure if whenever you see Christina throughout the arenas, make sure you go and thank her she puts in a lot of time and effort. Her and Mike do a great job. So thanks, guys.
Thanks, Shane. Our next one is coming up on February 21st, and that's going to be a really good one. It's with Bear, our head coach, on bench management. So see everyone again then. Bye, everyone.
See you guys.